take a trip to my...
Hey everyone, how's it going? NATO Power Gaming here, or just NATO Power, and welcome to Flight Simulator X. I've done a couple videos on this, but I stopped because I don't know why. But in the meantime, while I was stopped, I've actually continued very much to use FSX, and I figured now would be a perfect time to bring it back since I've branched out so many ways. Why not now? So before we get started here, we're using a bunch of add-ons. First of all, you're in the PMDG 737, pretty obvious, pretty nice aircraft, and we'll go over how detailed it is and what makes that nice in a minute. Also on my desk right now, I have a SATEC profile, yoke, throttle, rudder pedals, and the radio stack. The scenery here, we have Orbix's terrain, global, I believe it is, yeah. We're also using Active Skynex for real weather conditions. As you can see, it's pretty nice here right now. And last but not least, we'll talk about the flight. So, right now, we are in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. If you don't know where that is, I will put a photo up right now. Or if I don't and forget, Google it. And we're flying all the way to Moncton, New Brunswick. It's actually a pretty short flight. It won't. We're not going to be going up to 37,000 feet or anything like that. But, nevertheless, it is still a good flight. And, of course, the more experience you can get in this aircraft, the better, because this is a pretty complex aircraft to fly. It's one of the most complex for me, but I really like that. So we're in the cold and dark state right now. Pretty obvious stuff. I'm just going to push myself down here a little bit. There we go. And let's go over to our overhead panel here to get us started up here. So, first of all, I'm just going to do all of my, my lighting here. I'm just going through the shift numbers right now. This is stuff that I would normally do after, but it doesn't really matter. If you double right-click, by the way, that's how I'm getting these to go like that. In case you're wondering, we'll deal with that later. We'll deal with that later. These, for now, they shouldn't technically be on, but we're going to do it anyway. So we want to turn the battery on. Close that. We want to turn the emergency legs armed. Do that. We're going to flick these. And these. Trying to click these things. I hate it. All of these. And these two as well. And then... now you can see we have some basic instruments popping up here, so push that away. We're going to go to ground connections, and we're going to start getting all of our cool stuff. Now you can start hearing some nice sounds. Pretty cool. And now we should be able to go ground power. Boom! Now you can see our warnings are starting to disappear a little bit here. There is a couple left, but that's okay. That's all because we don't have engines set up yet. But we'll be doing that here in a minute. We're also going to set that to RTO. That's normally done later, but it's might as well just be done now. We're going to turn our flight directors on, both of them. It's pretty important to have. And last but not least, we're going to turn our TCAS on, and we're going to squawk 2200 because we are online. Now, next things next. All of these are on, but these, because they're lazy, they don't. There you go. Now we're going to align our IRS like so. We're also going to turn that on. That's why you don't see these right now, by the way, because there is no IRS aligned, so it's going to be like, what are you doing? Next, we are going to get our fuel. This is pretty important. We're going to get a random payload. There you go. Wow, not many people. Okay. Now, there is a website called fuelplanner.com where you can plan your trip, and it is awesome, and that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I don't think you can. But anyway, we need 9,327 pounds of fuel, like so. Just clear off that message and that one. And there you go. That's actually all we need for that. Now, if we go into FMC, this is where we start doing the FMC. By the way, you can start seeing this is starting to align now. I don't know how long it takes. Or if it has... Oh, you know what? No, it's because we need to do some stuff here. So when you do pause init, we're going to say where we are. We're at Charlottetown, which is CYYG. Put that in the reference. Double right click that, put it in there, and now you have all your info as planned. Next, we are going from YYG. Nice how it automatically fills that in for you. I love that about this. Going to YQM. The winds here, I don't think you can see this screen either, so I do apologize, but I'm just looking at Active Skynex. The winds are 170, which we had 20 degrees here where I am, so it's going to be 190, 15 gusting 22. Not really a nice day. So, it looks like we're going to be departing runway 21. So if I just do a quick top-down view, that's right there. So, yes, that is totally okay with me. So it's going to be runway 21 for departure. Now I can go back into our route. Now you see it says 21. Fantastic. We're just going to go VOR to VOR, so we're just going to go YYG. And then it's going to be, I do believe, unless the weather's changed since I looked it up. No, the winds are 190, so there's not really any nice place to land there. But we are going to land the ILS 29. Or what are the winds like, actually? I didn't check that. 13 knots. Good lord above. Okay, no, we are going to do the ILS 29. Why not? And the transition is going to be YQM. We're going to go VOR to VOR as we planned. Throw that in to fix the problem. We're actually just going to go direct to YQM because you see that problem is not going to be any helpful. Next to Permanent, we're just going to double-click that. Our cruising altitude today, well, we're not going that far. I don't know how far this actual trip is. About 80 nautical miles-ish, so yeah, it's not really much. I'm just trying to figure out what I've done here. I don't really think we need that in there, do we? No, we don't. Actually, you know what? We don't even need, we can just go direct to add. Yeah, that actually clears it up pretty well. Okay, fantastic. Anyway, Perfinite. Our reserves, again, back to the fuel planner, you see, or you would see that we have 6.5 on the reserve. Our cost index are going to go 17, because why not? And our cruising altitude, well, we're only going this far, so it's not going to be much. I'm going to make it about 6,000, I guess, just for this flight, because this is a short flight. That doesn't matter. The N1 limit does, though. Takeoff, flaps 5 for takeoff. We're going to double-click that, and we're going to fill in the numbers that it gives us here. Now that it has our fuel and stuff, we can do this. So, 140, and now you want to go into your speed and set it to 5 above the V2. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just like so. Fantastic. Now, we also want to set it to the trim here. So, it says 4.52. If we start scrolling with our mouse wheel, we can get it pretty close to that. Oh, actually, no, I'm pretty lucky. I got it exact this time. Yeah, but that's good. Now that's done, we can look at our climb stuff. That's fine with me. That's also fine with me. Oh, yeah, we do have to go at 240. That's fine. And 245 on the descent would be nice. Arrival is ILS. We can't get anything about that right now. We'll go more into detail about that in a little bit, but for now we're going to leave it, so don't worry about it. We're also going to need to set some more things here. So obviously the altitude we're going to. You also need to set that up here, by the way, and you also need to set the landing altitude, which is why I have Active Sky Next. It's very good for weather, but it also gives you the altitude. So we're at 230 feet. You want to go to the next one above that, so we're going to say 250. Pretty sure it's in feet that it measures it in, isn't it? I don't know. Let me just double check that, actually. PMDG, feet or inches? I think, or feet or meters, you know what I mean? I think we're good with that. I'm going to say we're right. Yeah, sure. I also want to turn the yaw damper on, as you saw me do there while I was nonchalantly fixing everything. Now, since we're all good to go, we're going to turn our APU on here, and we're going to wait for that. You'll know when it's done because that will light up ready to go. Meanwhile, by the way, you can take a look at this. This is the fancy glare shield, and it is cutting edge type of stuff, really is. And this is one of my favorite things about PMDG is that they added this in, or they put it in when they made the aircraft, because it's very nice to have that, especially on low visibility. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. What I meant to do is just take a nice look out. Nice day today. Minus the wind. The wind's a bit bad. What does that say? High brightness. I didn't know we could maybe change that. The altimeter 2969. It's already been put in for me by myself because I'm smart. Has our APU started up yet? No, it should be pretty close. So here, it does take a couple minutes to do that, by the way. So don't worry. There we go. Now we got it. So now we're just gonna bink. We can now disconnect the ground power. So you, all of you off. And we're going to do that as well. Turn the wheel shocks off. We are going to set our parking brakes, though, because safety is sexy. And now we're ready to go. So, next up, I don't have any traffic here, so we're okay to do this. Turn those on. And now we're going to go bink, bink, like so. Now, you'll see down here, you'll look down here, that you'll see these are starting to roll up a little bit. Once you get to 22, you can flick these both on and you'll start your ignition. So we're going to start with the right engine first. There is actually supposed to be a time between the two, but oh well. Now you can see we're both starting up here. Now you'll see these start to roll up a little bit. A bit slow, but they do go up, so we're going to start pushing ourselves back here a little. Actually, know what we're going to do? No, we're not. We're going to it's too small for our aircraft. Okay, screw you 2G6. I can mess with it, but I don't want to. So we're going to push ourselves back because we're better. Okay. Now, we're also going to set our flaps to 5, like so. Now, I need to be careful with how I'm pushing this. That's good right there. Thank you. Parking brakes on again. Our flaps are moving, and those are done. So now we need to go bink, bink, and now we can turn off the APU. Very important, we need to have these set to like this. I'm not going to describe how you do it, but that's how you do it. You want to make sure they're like that. Taxi lights on, and as you can see, we have no warnings or anything, so we're good to go. This is going to move, by the way, when you taxi a little bit, so don't worry about messing to get your alignment perfect. I would do it once you're on takeoff, but not now. So, anyway, let's get to it here. We're ready to taxi, so we'll increase our throttle just a little bit. I'm using my rudder pedals right now, and here we are. Let's get to it. So I decided to make a sharp turn here. If I had GSX, they would have pushed me back onto the line, but they didn't because they thought the parking was too small. So I think we're going to hit a taxi sign here, unless we can avoid it narrowly with our nose, and we can, because we're smart. Anyway, while we're doing this, we're also going to arm our auto throttle right quick. You can see that brings it up arm there. And in case you're following along and trying to fly with me here, what you're going to want to do after takeoff, you're going to hit the autopilot, CMD right there, and you're going to hit LNAV and VNAV. Make sure there are no discontinuities or whatever they're called. I think it's called discontinuities. And make sure there's no errors in your flight plan here, because if there are, you're in some deep crap. So do not, under any circumstances, let that happen. Turn our landing lights on here. Our taxi lights off. And we're going to get out of here. Now, I do have quite a long backtrack here, so I'm going to speed up a little bit. Again, as I'm going to show you here, yeah, you can see we have moved a little bit here, so I will mess with that a little bit more right now. So that's good enough as is. I'm lined up pretty well with the runway here, jeez. As I said, this is very helpful to have when you're flying difficult approaches, because you pretty much see everything. So yeah, it's very much nice to have this on you. Anyway, let's prepare to get out of here. I don't think there's an apron here at the end of runway 21 in Charlottetown, so we're gonna have to do a Papa Yui here. We might end up going out of the dirt, but that's okay. We don't actually need the whole runway, by the way, so we're going to make this nice and careful. I don't think I'm going to do perfect at this, but now if I pop it around right carefully. Oh, I might have gotten it. I might have gotten it. Yeah, I did. Lovely. Oh, wow, yeah, that was a pretty good turnaround, actually. Okay, I'm pretty proud of myself. Anyway, now that we're ready to go, as you can see, we're lined up pretty well at the runway here. Our thingy here is saying, our heads-up display says we're, you know, not bad, not bad. So all we have to do now, we can either do manual thrust, which I'm lazy, so I'm not going to do that, or you can hit Control-Shift-G. And as you can see, that just goes to takeoff, go around mode. And there comes our thrust. And we're off. Fuel is critically low, that's fine. It's trying to tell me that my center tank is empty when I know it's okay. So don't worry about that. Being pushed a little bit to the left here, that's okay. V1, there's rotate. We'll make it pretty easy going here. Okay, a little bit steeper of a climb than that. There you go. Pitch ourselves up here a little bit. Here's positive rate gears up. Mess with the trim here a little bit. And up we are. You see we've passed our flap things there, so we can bring our flaps in. And now we have a turn right now, so we're going to do that pretty much instantly. We are getting bumped a little bit around by the wind here, but that's perfectly okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Autopilot, LNAV, VNAV, and LNAV. Or that, yes, VNAV. There we go. I realized what I made. I made my mistakes. I realized them. Next, you're going to want to lock the gear, and you're going to want to set that off. We will be messing with that again soon, but for now, that's totally fine as is. So here we go. We're climbing very fast. But that'll even itself out as needed if it needs to. But as you can see, we are keeping a speed here. So the VNAV is keeping us correctly positioned. I feel like I'm really high up, but I'm not. It's an interesting feeling. Anyway, we're going to get off the island here. And now that we're doing that, we can actually go to our next thing, which is the ILS. As you can see, it's giving it to us. How nice of it. So our course is 286, which we are going to fill into both of these. Like so, and then the frequency 1093. So we'll fill it in here to the nav. Like so, and on the standby. Like so. And there you go. So we are actually already ready for the ILS. Now that's it. As you can see, our bearing, we're pretty much right on course already. So we're set up pretty well here. We're already at 6,000. Good lord. Maybe I should have considered going a bit higher. Actually, that's what we'll do. We'll go up a little higher. And we'll bring you up to 8,000 and you too. You do want to make sure that's changed, by the way, if you change your cruising altitude, because this won't calculate it properly for your descent. So that's a good thing. But as you can see, our top of descent moved with it. So it's good. Another thing you want to do is set your auto brake appropriately. This is more just by fair judgment than anything, really. Let's just bring you up a little faster there, can we? There we go. Yeah, that should be okay. So, runway 29 in wow, look at these nice clouds. I'm sorry, I just got distracted. Runway 29 in Moncton is a fairly long runway, so we're just going to put it to auto brake 2. That should be plenty of room for us. The only crappy thing about Moncton here is that I have not gotten a new scenery recently, so it's actually not as long as it really, as we all think it is. So, auto brake 3. Maximum auto brakes, by the way, should only be used in, like, worst case sort of scenarios, so, like, real short landings, like, minimum runway length. Which, if this video gets enough views, I might start doing these own little challenges for me, where I go into these, very short approaches, which I've done quite a few times. And they're always plenty of fun. Anyway, we can now sit back to that, our VNAV, because we've arrived at our unplanned nicer cruise of 8,000 feet, which is good. And now you can see that we're following the path perfectly fine here. So now we need to set for our descent, believe it or not. Our descent, we're going to go down to 3,000. So you can actually set that right now. As long as you don't click vertical speed, you won't change. So you're good to go. And as you can see, nothing's happened here. But the good news is, once this gets to the top of descent, it's actually going to automatically descend us on course to the runway. To 3,000 anyway. So it's very nice to have that. It's so cool. And you'll all see what I mean in a bit. as you can see, we've begun our descent here. Our autopilot has done it for us, and it has lined us up rather well. But because it's not perfect, I'm gonna actually do it on my own. Thanks though, autopilot. You really got it this time. So we're gonna descend it around that-ish. That should work, yeah. We're also gonna bring our speed down a little bit to 230, just for our own sake. Bring that down a little faster. I kind of like to be there by here. There you go. That's good enough for me. Anyway, so everything is pretty much ready to go here. There is not much left to do, just waiting game. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. That's about it. This whole flight is just about over. All we gotta do is wait. I will double check to make sure I have the frequencies right. 1093, 1093. Yeah, I didn't go into Unicom. That's my bad. Sorry, world. That quickly. Also, I do have my radio stack, as you can see, so it's always nice having that. Does that also edit squawks? Oh, look at that, it does. That's cool. I didn't know these things. I'm sorry. Just play with that while I wait. Anyway, we are descending nice and smoothly here. You might even be able to see the field from over here, can you? I think that might be it right there. Yeah, it's definitely it. Yeah, there is the field. We're going to slow down a little faster. I'm actually going to extend speed brakes partially here. Just to keep that speed going smoothly. Although it seems like we're not being able to handle that, so we might need to keep it going. Nice and easy here. And if the winds do permit, by the way, I might make this a visual landing. The winds right now are 13 knots, and the direction is not really perfect, so we might have to make this, or let the ILS do its own thing here. But we will certainly see. Interesting how that does nothing. Anyway, we can actually activate the VOR lock mode right now if we wanted, which I am going to do. We're plenty far away, but since it doesn't really matter, we can just do it now, because we're going to be hitting the localizer here pretty soon. I mean, we can't. The field is in sight. There you go. Now you can actually see the runway in the distance there. Yes, nice. Oh, by the way, I'm also using Rex for textures. I should also mention that. And now you can see we've actually hit it. So now we can hit approach, like so. And now we are actually on the approach. So, yes, thank you very much for letting me know I'm at 3,000 feet. God bless you. So we're not at 3,000. We're almost at 3,000. Once we get to 3,000, we're going to turn the VNAV back on, because we don't want that on forever. Although we are going to change it back permanently once it gets onto final. The altimeter in Moncton is 2964, so we are going to need to change you in a second anyway. We don't need to do... Actually, screw, we'll do it right now. But let's do it, why not? Whoa, getting bumped around here a little bit. Okay, spoilers retracted back up to normal. It does say approach VR if not set, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Anyway, now we can hit VNAV. Nice and fun and cool. We're going to put flaps 5. It's going to slow us down to the speed it thinks we should be at, which is 177 knots. That's fine with me. And as you can see, we're aircraft is compensating for that lift a little bit here. Which is good. That is fantastic. Now, once we hit the glide slope, it's going to show up right there, by the way. It'll say GS or G/S, whatever. Either way, you'll know what it is. It's a glide slope, and you'll start descending pretty quickly. So you'll see it here in a second. Our speed, however, nice. It's working perfectly for us. And we are definitely on the approach nice and smooth. Once we hit the glide slope, I'm going to... Actually, you know what? I'm going to give it a second. I'll put down the gear here in a second. There's the glide slope. You know what? I'll put down the gear right now. Screw it. We aren't going to use full flaps, by the way. We're going to use flaps 30, which is that right there. I don't know why that texture is so bad. I must have screwed something up there. We're going to use flaps 30. and depending on how the wind is, I'll put it out to 40, should that be required, in a second. There's 30. Fantastic. And you can see we're on a crosswind here. Yeah, that's going to happen. As you can see, by the way, this is... There you go. You can see this actually has edited it for me. It actually says 287 now. It said 286 on the thingy here, I think, but... It does. But it does automate it and fix it as required. So that's very nice. It's very helpful. By the way, if you think you might be off, just use the heads-up display. You can actually see that we are perfect right now, lined up with the runway. Although it may not look like it, this definitely disagrees with that statement. We are just on a crosswind, so don't worry about it. That's going to happen. And this aircraft does most definitely know how to compensate for that. And do it well as well. Anyway, thinking now, by the way, the better runway would have been 24, but I didn't think about that when I was leaving. I just wanted to kind of show off what the ILS did anyway. So that's totally okay. Anyway, here we come now. The crosswind is getting not bad, but I am going to take manual control. You can see the speed heading, or speed hold has come back up again. So now we're going to put flaps down full, and we're going to bring our speed down to just below, or just above minimum speed for this, which is 127. So we're going to go to 130. And you can see we are starting to really drop the speed pretty quickly here. And this aircraft, again, will compensate for it. Once we get to about 1,000 feet, I think I'm going to take over manually. As the ILS has gotten us this far. It needs a break. It's alright. It deserves it. There we go. The speed is still on, by the way, so that's most definitely not something to be worried about. Ooh, a little bit of little bumpy winds coming in here, but that's okay. We can work with it. Now, of course, it always is going to be a bit bumpier when you're doing this manually, but I also feel like it's a lot more satisfying to do a manual landing, or that's how it seems for me anyway. Just, you know, the ILS, it's all automated. You don't get any gratitude out of the thing, everything doing its doing a landing on its own. You gotta put in the skills to really land this, and this is a very well done aircraft. So if you can land this, it's definitely something to be happy about, I would say. Ooh, I pitched it a little bit high there, but that's okay. You can see we are still on the pretty nice glide slope here. I seem to be holding this pretty well. The winds are starting to calm here, so we're gonna try to keep it on the center line here, 400 feet above. Starting to see the nice trees here. Good lord! I also bought FTX or Orbix's trees. There's the runway outline coming up here, which is a little inaccurate actually. Now I'm trying to get my mouse over to that. There's my first mistake. There we go. Approach warning, thank you. Okay, now I can get back to it, and then we idle the aircraft just like that. Nice and easy, nice and easy. There's touchdown. And we can put reversers. You see our auto brakes have engaged perfectly. I'll do some little rudder trimming here to get us onto the center line, and there you go. Bring our flaps up, our spoilers up. There you go. So welcome to Moncton, everyone. It's that simple. The ILS could have done all of that, by the way, including the landing, since this is a Cat 2, and this aircraft is totally okay with doing anything you want it. So that's totally okay with it. Okay, taxi lights on. We're going to be exiting here in a second, so we can just do that. APU on. It's starting. And we can now exit nicely to the left. There's another apron up there, but we're just going to go here because it's faster. Like so, nice and easy. There you go. And we are clear. So there you go. That's the flight, guys. A nice short flight, but still a very good one for sure. The winds were a bit challenging here on approach, but as I've always said, the winds are always a nice thing to have. Challenging is not necessarily a bad thing, and especially when you're flying, because you never know what you're going to get. And I certainly didn't take that landing for granted. That was a bit of a toughie to land, especially since I was trying to get the auto throttle there. So that was kind of my own fault. It would have been a lot smoother, but nevertheless, still a very smooth landing. So yeah, we'll just park it here, and then we'll shut everything down. Lined up nicely with the center line here, it looks. I can stop it right there. Nice. Alright, parking brake on. Those off. Fuel pumps off. Taxi lights off. And we can officially deboard the aircraft. Now we can actually set up ground connections again now, by the way, so that's what I'm going to do. We won't waste any of our APU stuff here. We'll just do right to that right away. You can turn most of your electrical off here. I'm going to turn off most of it. Turn off our seatbelt signs, and there you go. We'll turn off our flight directors as well. So yeah, guys, welcome to Moncton. Oh, what do we got? Air Canada, good lord. Perfect. Air Canada doesn't even have any 737s, so that's okay with me. Open our exits like so, and there you go. So guys, thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video, and I'll consider maybe doing some more flight sim stuff. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.